Hey everybody, blessings and hello. I am Letitia and this is a video that I call a series that I do that I call Tish Talk. And I'm recording on August 30th, 2024. And the title of today's video is Political Vibes Today. And the subtitle is The Other Side. And I'm going to be discussing some of the most talked about topics in politics that I'm seeing from my Threads feed. The most popular thing happening over, today, between today and last night. I'm going to talk about that. And yeah, I'm just going to share uh, my POV, my agnostic, progressive, idealist, millennial mom, INFJ empath perspective on the political vibes today, my point of view. All right. So what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to talk about three things. I wanted to talk about my three main things. I wanted to talk about the CNN interview, the joint interview with Tim Walz and VP Kamala Harris with Dana Bash on CNN. I just want to talk about that briefly. I wanted to talk about the Arlington Cemetery event with Donald Trump and his people. And I wanted to talk about the voter intimidation news coming out of Texas. And I'm not going to talk about these things in detail because detail is not my thing. I share information from other content creators on these topics in my stories, and sometimes I share them on my feed as well on at Letitia's POV and at Life, Love, Liberty, Democracy 2024. Those two accounts. I share information that other content creators put together that would leave you a little bit more informed on certain things. I'm just going to give you my perspective, my 2 cents on these topics, and talk about the things that I feel most led to talk about to add a little bit more to the conversation than what has already been said. I feel like there are a lot of creators online, and one of the things that I have always been dealing with is finding my place. Where's the space that I'm going to take up in this online conversation, online space? What is my purpose? How do I contribute? How do I add? And the more I've done this, the more I've come to realize where my what what space I'm going to take up. Where's my lane? And my lane, I see myself, first of all, as what you call a sunflower. You know, I am, I believed myself to be a light worker, whatever that means. I believe myself to be, my purpose is to be a representation and a reflection of love and light, and highlighter of truth, and pass on information, to highlight others, to amplify truth, and to add my 2 cents. And my 2 cents is always in the lane of inspiring others and being a light and letting my light shine, and just discussing things from a idealist, light worker, progressive, intuitive perspective. For some reason, I was blanking out on the word intuitive, but an intuitive perspective. And as I've mentioned many times, I'm training to do this. So I'm not like super good at it yet, but I'm practicing. And the more I do it, the more I get better. So what I want to talk about, I will, I want to talk about the CNN interview first of all. So I posted something today that many of you would not have seen because not many people seem to have seen it and engaged with it. But I posted a video that I did on the 26th of August called Corporate Media and Content Creators. And even though it's a little bit later, it's a few days after I recorded it, it is still relevant today because we know that we have a corporate media problem. We know that corporate media is not on our side. And I have feelings towards corporate media. my feelings towards corporate media is that I am fully aware that corporate media is not my friend. Corporate media isn't looking out for me, and it isn't looking out for us, we who are not wealthy. My opinion is that corporate media is look out for rich people, and they spew narratives, or they try to shape narratives, and they're very intentional with the way how they investigate, or how they ask questions, or how they pursue information. They're very sensationalistic, they lack substance, they're not trustworthy, and to be honest, and they're not democratic. They're not democratic. And to be honest, I find that Dana Bash is one of the least democratic, least substantive, the least person of substance in corporate media, one of the least in corporate media today. I hate to hear Dana Bash. I refuse to watch Dana Bash. I don't like her interviews. I don't like when she is moderating debates. So I didn't watch that debate with Joe Biden, so I'm not traumatized by that. And I didn't watch that interview either. The only thing that I know of the interview is the clips that people, trusted sources like other content creators, and not just content creators, but people online, accounts that I follow, people, just the voice of the people, trusted sources, hearing their perspective of it. And their perspective of it is not surprising. It is exactly what I expected it to be. So I refuse to click on any CNN videos or anything related to CNN content in any form or fashion. And the only time I would know of something on CNN is if other people I trust and I follow share it. So the three things that stood out to me that was shared about this interview is when let's just say that these are answers to stupid questions, most of them, except one maybe I think was it was a cool question. But there was this question that she asked where blah 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 blah. She asked a dumb question, and it is really about, the wording was something to do with flip-flopping on positions and all of that. And Kamala Harris's answer was, my values have not changed. She said a whole lot more to that than that, but the main part that I want to point out is that she said, my values have not changed. And one of the words that I use to describe mainstream media, corporate media, is that it has this energy and this spirit of immaturity. It is willfully immature, willfully disingenuous, and willfully but just disingenuous, right? And it has it asks questions. These people ask questions and really really like a child. And like I said, I've said this before, a child would do better than this, right? But my values have not changed is a good answer to that question. But the way how they ask questions is like they don't give you, it's like people can't grow or shift or be open to change when they learn more, when they experience more, when things change. They kind of want to hold people to positions and policy ideas and things that they may have had, ideas they may have had in policy and things they might have said years ago, as though human beings don't evolve and grow and change. And it's very, very, it's like I said, it's like that's an immature way to look at it. And it helps me to understand why a lot of people in society, it hasn't evolved in maturity, even though they might be grown. They sound like immature people or unwise people or people that don't understand basic things like the human ability to grow and shift and stretch and be changed and be transformed, because we're constantly growing and evolving and learning, and things just change, you know? So her question was dumb, but Kamala Harris's answer was wonderful. And then there was the other question where she was like, I don't know what she was trying to get out of, again, out of Kamala Harris, in relation to the whole thing about her turning black, which is very dumb, very stupid. Kamala Harris said, next question. Then she asked about if she would appoint, or appoint a Republican to her cabinet. I don't know if appoint is the right word, but appoint a Republican to her cabinet. And Kamala Harris said, yes, she would, because she invites, different perspectives and, whatever. She said some stuff. And I thought it was a kind of cool answer. And that, when she said that, I'm thinking about people like Adam Kinzinger, maybe even possibly Liz Cheney, and just people like that. But mostly I'm thinking Adam Kinzinger. More than anything, I would love to see Adam Kinzinger be appointed in her cabinet. I don't always agree with everything that Adam Kinzinger says, but I highly respect him. I think he's a honorable, courageous, good person. And I think that diversity of thought and just changing the way things are done could do America some good. So I would love to see like good former Republicans, Republicans, maybe one or two or just one, appointed to Kamala Harris's cabinet, right? All right, so the Arlington Cemetery events. Well, I don't really like to pay much attention to. I don't like to focus on Trump too much, because I feel like we shouldn't even have to. This man should just not be a part of our lives. We shouldn't have to pay attention to him. We shouldn't have to listen to him because he's ignorant. He is disgusting. He is a terrible person. He's not worthy of our thoughts. He's not worthy of our attention. We should be able to see this man for who he is. And what I can't understand is why there's so many people that cannot see this man for who he is and cannot see the danger that he poses. And I blame corporate media for that. But you can't give corporate media all the blame, because what I don't understand is why people's discernment and people's common sense and people's intelligence are that broken that you can be easily manipulated in such a obvious way by media, by right-wing media, by propaganda media, by Fox News, by corporate media, by all media, And my other question is, like, what's up with the thumbs up all the time? Why does all Trump's videos have to have a thumbs up? What is that about? What is the thumbs up? It is very, very weird. It is very weird that not only does he do the thumbs up, but all the people that pose with him do the thumbs up. And I wonder what the conversation is around this thumbs up. So anyhow, I'm already like 14 minutes into my video. And there's a couple more things that I wanted to talk about. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to fit what I wanted to say in the video, but I'm going to try. Okay. But if not, I'm going to do a part 2. The next thing is, I wanted to share the content creators that did videos on that Arlington Cemetery event that I found to be interesting, and it would be interesting for you to watch as well. So one of the content creators, and I don't know if I'm going to call this right, but I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it down there. At Rashid, or R.Y. Sheed. R.Y. Sheed? Rashid? I don't know what that's supposed to be. At Patrick Lawler. I think these two men are veterans. And they did not appreciate this this shit that went down at the Arlington cemetery and how disrespectful Trump was. And I Am Politics Girl did a video called Dead Soldiers Are Not Props. I would also encourage you to watch that one as well. So I know that I keep saying the same thing, that 15 minutes on Instagram is not enough time. I know that I probably should probably try to do lives so that I can get some more time. I just don't know. I don't feel ready to do lives as yet. But sometimes I just have to divide these videos in two. And this is going to be one of those videos that I'm going to divide in two. But I never post more than one Tish Talk on my Instagram in one day. So if you are interested, you will have to watch part 2, the next day, or watch the entire video on YouTube. Remember that I'm a work in progress, and I'm working on improving the quality of my videos. I'm working on improving especially these type of videos, because these type of videos are the hardest ones, because it's me trying to pass on specific information. And by me trying to pass on specific information, I have to be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more tighter in the things that I say. And, that is a little bit more challenging for me. But I appreciate you for supporting my videos, for sitting down and listening and hearing me out, because I really do think that I have some interesting stuff to say. I just got to figure out how best to say it, how to use the time. The one last story that I wanted to discuss, that is a topic of conversation right now, is that there's a lot of things that are being talked about, because a lot of things are happening, but there's just this mood of things that would be specifically being discussed by many people on my Threads feed and on my Instagram feed, and the things that also caught my attention more than anything else, because there's so much, you can't keep up. You have to pick and choose the things that you try to talk about, the information that you try to share. But the next thing is this voter intimidation, voter suppression situation that is happening in Texas. It kind of reminds me of what I saw happening in Florida when Ron DeSantis was on the ballot for governor. That's some serious voter intimidation shit, with people showing up at your door, like officials showing up at your door and treating you terribly and scaring the shit out of you, and just basically scaring you out of voting and scaring other people, because I guess that's the main goal, is not just to scare the person that they're bullying and they treating treating like prisoners, or treating like shit, treating like, I don't know, treating badly, like convicts, or whatever, treating badly. The tactics is about scaring other people as well, scaring people, out of having that same shit happen to you. And I really do think, in order for us to win against these kind of people, in order for us to get these kind of people out of power so they can't treat other people like that, is they have to be people that are brave enough and strong enough to stand up to bullies. You have to not give in to fear, and you have to have people with you. Don't do it alone, as best as you can. Like, just have people with you and be prepared or informed, or I don't know. I can't tell you that I have had these experiences. All I can say is that for me, I'm praying for people that are going through these things, because I know and I understand that the way to deal with a bully is to stand up to a bully. It's to not allow them to intimidate you, and to stand together, And I really want to see freedom for Texas, because Texas, to me, Texas and Georgia and, other states, these are already fascist states. Tennessee and a lot of these red states have like they're really like standing or kneeling into the necks of their constituents. Like this, it's already like a fascist state, a imbalance of power, and a corrupt states, and abuse of power. you know so anyway, what am I talking about is this story about where Ken Paxton sent like about 9 police officers, I guess, to an 87-year-old Latino woman. I did not take the time to learn her name because that's not important. An 87-year-old, it is important, but it's not really important to the story. An 87-year-old Latina woman, had her standing outside for hours and questioning her for hours, and searching her home and confiscating her phone and laptop and all that and with the because he's supposedly investigating voter fraud. One of the things that people need to know, if they don't already know it, is that this is like one of the most corrupt AGs, attorney generals in the country. And I feel bad about this situation. I wish people didn't have to go through this. I wish they didn't have people like these people like Ken Paxton and Donald Trump, and the people that he bring out to the woodworks that carry this dark energy with them, in trying to control other people's lives and steal people's joy and steal people's freedom and fill people up with fear and loot and destroy and steal and just suck dry the soul of a place and have people suffering, because they're not taking care of their constituency. Their constituents, they're basically in it for the power and in it for what they can get for themselves. And I want to say, to close up these videos, to close up part 2 of this video, and I tried my best to speak more clearly and more eloquently, but I think it was a little bit more rambly than I would have liked to be. But like I said, practice makes progress. Is that for me, the more I see this behavior, the more darkness I see in terms of what corporate media is doing, and in terms of what these corrupt AGs and these corrupt governors and these corrupt politicians that are for sale, owned by wealthy people, owned by money people, owned by the richest people in the country, and maybe in the world. I don't even know who these people are, but I know that they're there hovering over us and making life very difficult for the everyday person. And they're purchasing people like Donald Trump and people like, Ken Paxton and all these kind of people that are willing to do their bidding and, have no soul, have no empathy, that are just dark, hardened hearts that care nothing about other people, just care about themselves. The more that they spread their darkness and they do what they do, the more determined and motivated and focused I become. And the more corporate media reveals its motivations, and the more they reveal their motivations and their partnership, because the corporate media and these people are bedfellows, they're in it, they're in on it together, and this doesn't come from because I know the details of what's what. It is because I know in my heart, based on what I see. I know what I'm looking at. Even if I might not understand what I'm looking at, I get it. I understand the darkness. I can see the darkness. I can see the corruption. I can see the manipulation and the gaslighting and the I can see what they're doing, right? So the more that they do what they do, the more I want to be a truth teller and a messenger and a light worker and a content creator and an inspirer. I prefer to say inspirer as opposed to influencer. And I want to bring the light out of people, and I want to spread the truth and amplify the truth. And I might not come in the perfect package, but I know what I'm working towards. And I could tell you that if you sit down and you invest your time into listening to me and into engaging with my videos, you're investing in a determined person that knows where she's heading and what she's working towards. All the while still being a mom of 5 children. So I'm doing that. I am a home managing, homeschooling mom of 5 children. So that's what I'm doing, along with what I'm trying to do here, the purpose that I'm trying to fulfill here. So anyway, the last thing I want to say before I close the video is if you're not a Substack, I will recommend that you download the Substack app and start following Substack independent writers, because it's almost like you're following these, what corporate media used to be, good writing, good journalism, good content, good, you could get your opinions and you could get the truth. And pro-democracy writing too, really good writers. And the 2 things that I read today, that goes along with what I am saying about corporate media is I read The Left Hook by Wajahat Ali. I don't know if I pronounced that right. The name of the piece was "What the Fuck is Wrong with the New York Times?" And what he was saying in that is that he criticizes mainstream media, corporate media, because he wants it to get better. I want corporate media to die. That's what I want. But he wants, it to improve. And then there's this other one, Enough Already, by D. Earl Stevens, and his article was called Time's Up, and that's also a corporate media, mainstream media related article, and it was more of a I demand answers. I want answers of what the fuck mainstream media is doing. He didn't say a fuck in it, but what they're doing. And where I'm concerned, I want more. I really do want corporate media today. I want the good journalists who are drowning in corporate media right now, is getting lost in the sauce, lost in the corporate media system, or under that umbrella. I want them to start. I know it's harder. It's harder to hustle. I know it's harder to be an independent writer and not have that security and protection. But you have your honor and your dignity, and your people will follow you and they will appreciate your work. So that is not for the lazy people that just want to stay under that protection and that umbrella. And maybe lazy is not the right word, but people who feel more comfortable under that. But the agenda of corporate media is not pro-democracy. It's not all right. So I would do Substack. That's what I do. I do Substack. I follow independent writers on Substack, and if you want to pay somebody, pay them. Subscribe to their memberships and all that. If you have the money, and unsubscribe to Washington Post and New York Times and all that, right? And follow some good writers. So thank you for listening, and I may have been a little bit rambly, but I appreciate that you stuck with me and we had this conversation. Thank you for listening. Blessings. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.